Philip knows he shouldn't read it, but something inside him insists. He needs to know. This might be his only chance. The man could come back any second. Philip reaches for the notebook. His heartbeat is loud enough to hear. At last, he opens it, and as he reads, his pulse falters, cold spreading through him. But the story doesn't start here. It starts a week earlier. The door chime rings. A man in his 60s walks in, wearing a worn, brown suit 2 sizes too large, as if he has suddenly lost a great deal of weight. His skin is pale, almost chalk white, and unnaturally wrinkled for his age, the fabric of his face not unlike that of his suit. "A flat white, please." A brief pause. "Single shot. No milk." Philip raises his eyebrows and hesitates, just for a second, then nods. "That will be £3.50. What name can I put on the cup?" The man doesn't answer. He glances toward the corner table. "I will be sitting over there." They don't normally derive to tables. For a moment, Philip considers saying so. In the end, he just nods, and the man begins pulling coins from his trouser pocket, placing them on the counter, one by one. He's 50p short. He sighs. "There might be some more over here," he mutters, slowly reaching into his other pocket. Philip interjects. "You know what? We've got a special discount today." But the man raises his hand in quiet objection and produces the remaining coins. Philip takes them and turns to the espresso machine. From the corner of his eye, he watches the man make his way to the table with urgency, but not with ease. He walks faster than he should and slower than he means. The second time Philip glances over, the man is already seated, a notebook and pen laid out neatly in front of him. He scans the café once, the counter, the door, the windows, and Philip. Then he toys with the pen between his fingers, takes a quiet breath, and begins to write. Philip catches himself watching a moment too long. A faint, almost amused smirk touches his lips before he looks away. The rich chocolatey aroma of the espresso fills the air, and for a second, Philip wishes the cup he is making were for himself. He has a flat white every day, and try as he might with his cheap machine and stale beans at home, it never tastes quite the same. Sometimes, he thinks about coming in on his days off just to have one properly made, but even as a staff member, it would add up quickly. One day, he tells himself. But he shakes the thought away and reaches for the milk, then pause. Single shot, no milk. He sets the carton back down and finishes the drink. The next day, the man returns, and the day after that, same time, same order, same careful counting of coins. He always sits at the same table too, and he's the only customer who gets his coffee delivered to him. Up until now, the man has always been careful to close the notebook whenever Philip approaches, which only makes him more curious about what the man could possibly be hiding. But today, whether by accident or intention, the page remains open. Philip sets the cup down. His eyes move without permission. Just one line. The rejection letter still sits on his desk, like mine. The thought lands like a blow. The handwriting also unsettles him. Something about the way the letters lean left feels strangely familiar, but he dismisses it. Before he can read any further, the door chime rings and a group of 20-somethings floods the café. He releases a long breath and rubs his brow. "Good luck, son," the man says, grinning. Philip forces a tight smile. "You smug old man." Then he goes back to the counter. The group seems to be from the nearby university, probably in between lectures, some talking loudly, some playing music, others watching shorts on their phones. They are about my age, and yet. They step forward in no particular order. One asks for a hazelnut latte with almond milk. Someone else changes their mind mid-order. A pumpkin spice, or... Actually, no. A decaf vanilla cappuccino, please. 10 more follow. And before Philip can finish jotting it all down, someone from the crowd reminds him they wanted a swan on top. By the time he reaches the last student, The only one, waiting patiently in silence, his hand aches. She asks for a green tea. Are you sure? He says. Not even matcha? She shakes her head and smiles. Philip exhales, almost amused. You're an angel. It's on the house. One of them murmurs. Did you hear that? She's always so lucky. Another voice, quieter. She passes everything without even trying. A pause. And now 3 drinks. Someone snorts. Hope she doesn't think it's because of her looks. Philip breaks his silence. You don't get to reduce people like that in here. The group goes quiet. From someone's phone, an old Elton John melody drifts through the café. I hope you don't mind. Philip shakes his head, then turns back to the girl. What name can I put on the cup? He asks. A few of them mutter under their breath before eventually drifting off in search of seats. It's Sophie, she whispers, wiping her tears away with a quivering hand. My name is Sophie. She gives a small, embarrassed laugh, as if she's annoyed at herself for crying. Sorry, they do that sometimes. Nice to meet you, Sophie, Philip says. You didn't deserve that. She nods, her eyes still damp. The corners of her mouth tremble before she steadies them. I start with yours, Philip says, handing her a napkin for her tears. Their eyes meet for a moment too long. Something warm stirs inside him. He turns to the espresso machine, steadying himself against the counter before placing the cup beneath the hot water spout. Steam rises softly as it fills. When he hands her the tea, she presses the napkin back into his palm. Later, after the door has closed behind her, Philip unfolds it. A phone number is written across the paper. He reads it once, then again. A quick flicker of excitement, sharp and almost boyish. For a moment, everything feels possible. Then the usual thought cuts in. She would be disappointed if she knew him anyway. He folds the napkin back up, considering throwing it away. A prickle runs along the back of his neck. He looks up. The old man is watching him. His expression has hardened. His eyes pierce him with disapproval, then drift away. The napkin crumples slightly in Philip's palm. I always disappoint everybody. The old man snaps the notebook shut and rises abruptly. Their eyes meet once more. Then he leaves. After a moment, Philip slips the napkin into his pocket. He's not the only person left in the cafe, but he has never felt more alone. Strangely enough, he even misses the old man. Within the disapproval in his eyes, there had also been understanding. He doesn't have time to dwell on it, however. He's got coffees to make. A whole lot of them, in fact. The methodical rhythm of the espresso machine and the scent of fresh coffee calm him. He forgets about Sophie and the old man until that is, he finally gets home, exhausted and already dreading the next day. The rejection letter still sits on his desk. The words echo in his mind. He cannot walk past without looking at the letter and the half-finished application beside it. He doesn't sit down. He just stands there, staring at the papers. The greatest standoff of his life, one he has repeated every day for the past year. The promise of another year like this makes him sick. For a moment, he almost pulls out the chair, almost reaches for the pen, but just the thought drains what little energy has left. Instead, he lies down on his bed, the desk lamp casting a soft glow across the room. Sophie's napkin rests in his hand. He turns it over, tracing the ink with his thumb. He reads her number again. Maybe tomorrow, he thinks. And just for once, he hopes sleep will come quickly. But his mind refuses to rest. It torments him with images of what could have been, what could still be, and what will inevitably be if he does nothing. When he finally falls asleep, he finds himself sitting in a large hall with a stage at its center. The students from earlier are there too, but this time he's one of them. Laughter fills the room. They are wearing graduation robes. Philip is wearing one too. And he sees her. Sophie stands a few rows away. Their eyes meet, and she lights up. Something warm surges through him. She begins to walk toward him, but before she reaches him, a hand settles on his shoulder. Cold, firm. He doesn't need to turn around to know. It's too late, the old man says quietly. The room recedes, and the laughter fades, as if carried somewhere far away. Philip tries to speak, but his throat tightens. The warmth drains from his chest. You're not one of them, the old man continues. Philip's fists clench. He should have been. He tries to push forward, towards Sophie, toward the stage, but his body won't obey. The harder he fights, the further away she seems. He wakes up, exhausted and sweaty. Morning light floods the room, too bright, too real. He drags his hands down his face. The dream lingers, dull and stubborn. For a long moment, he simply lies there, staring at the ceiling. Then he sighs and gets up. He has to go to work. It's already almost midday. The café is humming when he arrives. The morning shift is just finishing up. The routine begins again. Cups, steam, orders, noise. He tells himself the dream was just that, a dream. Until 4 o'clock. The door chime rings. The old man walks in. At the sight of him, Philip feels sick to his core. He searches for somewhere to hide, a corner, a storeroom, anything. But there is nowhere to go. The man spots him immediately and walks straight to the counter, a faint grin touching his lips. It's tough, isn't it? Philip keeps his hands on the counter so they won't shake. What is? His voice sounds distant to his own ears. Life. He laughs. The sound turns into a faint wheeze. The old man tilts his head, studying Philip, not as a stranger might, but as though recalling something once known. Some things just don't make any sense, he finally says. Nothing was ever missing. Philip's stomach tightens. What is that supposed to mean? A flicker of warmth passes over the man's face, almost pity. His gaze drifts somewhere unseen. Then it returns, and whatever had softened in him is gone. A flat white, please. Single shot. No milk. That's just an espresso. Philip's voice trembles. A brief pause. It's what you leave out that matters, isn't it? Or what you refuse to see. Philip frowns, puzzled. The man places a £5 note on the counter. Keep the change. A faint smile touches his lips. Or don't. He turns and walks to his usual place. Philip remains where he is, hands still on the counter. The old man lowers himself into the chair with the same careful urgency as always. He opens the notebook. The pen rests between his fingers. He looks at Philip for a moment, and he begins to write. Philip can't hear the scratching over the hum of the café, but he sees the movement, steady, deliberate. A line, another. Philip's chest tightens. He now knows, with a certainty that makes him feel lightheaded, that whatever is being written includes him. Someone approaches the counter, speaking. The words reach Philip as though filtered through water. The order number is 503. Daniel. Philip blinks. For a strange moment, the name feels louder than it should. I know. We need to hurry up, the young man says. Philip finally tears his gaze away from the old man. He looks at Daniel, half expecting to see someone else beside him. A friend, a girlfriend, someone leaning in, whispering urgency into his ear. But there is only one person standing there. A slightly disheveled student with untied trainers and restless energy practically vibrating beneath his skin. Alone. Excuse me? Philip asks. Sure, Daniel replies. Now can I get my order, please? Philip frowns faintly, then hands over the drink. Extra large, extra sweet, iced latte with an additional shot of espresso. Ironic, he thinks. Daniel doesn't look like he needs more caffeine. He grabs the cup, mutters a distracted thanks, and turns away, nearly colliding with the chair on his way out. Philip's eyes drift back to the corner table. The old man is gone. The chair is slightly pushed back, as though vacated in haste. Philip doesn't remember seeing or hearing him leave through the front door. Has he gone to the restroom? Philip's heart gives a violent thud. The notebook is still there, waiting. The old man has never once taken a step without it. Not to the counter, not to the door, not even to adjust his seat. Never. Philip swallows. The notebook lies on the table. Around him, the café continues as though nothing has shifted. People are lost in their conversations. Cops cling, someone lost near the window. But to Philip, it all feels distant, muted. He waits for the old man to reappear from the restroom. 30 seconds, a minute, but no one returns. The notebook just sits there, quiet and sealed, almost taunting him. He tells himself he will find nothing, that the line about the rejection letter was just coincidence. He tells himself the man will catch him, that he will be fired. He tells himself to forget about the whole thing, but he doesn't. He can't. Instead, he leaves the counter. Each step toward the table feels louder than it should. Are people watching? No one is. Up close, the notebook looks smaller, ordinary, harmless. And yet his pulse pounds in his ears. Philip knows he shouldn't read it, but something inside him insists. He needs to know. This might be his only chance. The man could come back any second. Philip reaches for the notebook. His heartbeat is loud enough to hear. At last, he opens it. And as he reads, his pulse falters, cold spreading through him. The handwriting is his. Not similar, not familiar, his. The same slight tilt to the left, the same uneven pressure in the downstrokes, even the way the P curves, too sharp at the top. His breath stutters. The page reads. Philip knows he shouldn't read it, but something inside him insists. His fingers go cold, but his eyes keep moving. He reaches for the notebook. Another line. His heartbeat is loud enough to hear. No. He whispers. It can't be. He flips to another page. The coffee hum continues around him, unchanged. This must be a cruel trick, he thinks, or still just a dream. But it is not. He reads on. It is all real. The writing continues, line after line, describing exactly what he is doing. Not what he did, what he is doing right now. He refuses to accept it. Then he notices the ink glistening as if still wet. His reflection trembles faintly in it. He touches the paper. The word smudges. The ink bleeds into itself. The paragraph now refuses to hold its shape. The sentences shift. The letters adjust. New text takes their place. He didn't imagine it. Rewrite. Philip stares at the page. For a moment, he doesn't dare move. The door chime rings. He slams the notebook shut and turns. The old man is standing by the door, watching. Not smiling this time, not judging, just waiting. Their eyes lock. The old man nods ever so slightly. Then he steps outside. Philip just stands there, listening to his own breathing. A spark of anger stirs inside him. For a moment, he's tempted to open the notebook again, but he has let a piece of paper define his whole life for far too long already. He straightens and takes a deep breath. He doesn't need to read the next page. For the first time in a long while, he knows exactly how it begins.